Full Circle is brought to you by Goods Candy Shop. We aren't just better, we're goods.
Welcome to Full Circle. I'm Suzanne McAllister. Our guest today is an author, a philanthropist, and a real estate artist. He's also been described as a daredevil, a maverick, and a modern-day Robin Hood. Our guest is Frank McKinney. He's the author of this book called The Tap. I'm so glad you're on the program today.
You know, it's an appropriate name, Full Circle. I was born in Indiana, was raised here, left when I was 18. I'm not going to tell you how many years later I'm back, but I've come full circle. I'm back. It's good to be sitting here and discussing the book and whatever else we're going to talk about.
Thank you, and I'm glad that the idea of full circle resonated with you. In fact, in reading your book cover to cover, and I enjoyed it so much, you even talk about full circle. It's the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. Mm-hmm. So a good connection there.
Indeed.
So I know what the tap is, but for our audience at home, what is the tap?
I think you can start with the image. If you look at the image on that book, that is the hand of God as painted by Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel.
I've seen it.
Touching the picture, the actual painting, he's touching the finger of Adam. We got permission from the Sistine Chapel through the Vatican, actually had to pay a royalty, to remove Adam from the picture and put you, the reader, in place of Adam and having God come down and tap you on the shoulder. The tap is an expansion on Luke 12, from Luke 12:48. Paraphrasing, to whom much is entrusted, much will be expected. And it teaches the reader two primary things. One is to recognize life's great tap moments, what they represent in their lives. Once they recognize that God is coming down and calling them to more, how do we act on life? If we recognize them without acting, it's a worthless tap. So it teaches people how to go forward and with faith and in faith and in belief to act on that great tap moment.
So how do we know when that tap moment occurs in our life? What are some things that you talk about in your book so that we can be more open to when those experiences happen?
Well, first of all, the tap is really, it is a business book, but it's how to succeed in the business of life. So we all want, if we say a prayer, for those who are watching that pray, if you inventory your prayer, it typically will contain some form of more. More health, more wealth, more peace, more love, more happiness, more joy, more relationships for you or the one you're praying for. I've learned that God rewards responsible stewards. And so the more that we are praying for, when we realize we must be responsible stewards for the more that we already have. Come to Haiti with me sometime. You will see, and everybody watching will feel, if you ever came or looked, you'll feel like the richest person in the world.
Absolutely.
So the book really says to you, if you want the more that you pray for yourself or somebody that you love, let's learn to be a responsible steward for the more that we already have. Then our territory, like the prayer of Jabez perhaps, will grow. And it's a very interesting study in an expanded territory by way of being a responsible steward for the whatever blessings that we have in the here and now. And you know, when you feel one of these tap moments, and when people read that book, I get a lot of emails and calls and things that say, aha, I have had so many of these, I didn't know what they represented. And they typically call you to more and outside of your comfort zone.
And you have experienced that in your own life many, many times. You have felt the call from God. You have expanded your horizons and impacted many, many people as a result of reacting in a way rather than just staying closed in, which many people stay in that space because they're fearful. And you identify fear as one reason why people don't understand when they have a tap moment.
Well, two things. One, when you see something that moves you, typically that movement is associated with some form of compassion, empathy. compassion is one of my favorite sayings. We used this when we were in Haiti right after the earthquake. Compassion without action is a waste of emotion. We can see a story or be moved by a story, but if we aren't moved to action, in my book, that is a waste of a good emotion. So when the earthquake took place, we're on our 18th village now in Haiti that we've built, self-sufficient village. And instead of sitting there watching Anderson Cooper go on and on about the problem, we were on the ground within 40 hours after the earth. Actually, the earth didn't stop shaking because when we were there, wow. I was awoken at night by aftershocks. And we weren't there to build villages. We weren't there to bring food. We were there to pull people from the rubble. And we rescued 5 people in a span of about 72 hours after we hit the ground. And I put together a search and rescue team. I'm not a search and rescue guy, but I put one together, and there we were pulling people from the rubble. That's an epiphanous TAP moment.
Absolutely. And you even talk about, and we're going to talk more about your efforts in Haiti after a break, and I really want to focus in on that as well. But you talked about how you had enough compassion to act. And in your book, The TAP, you really go through levels of where we are at certain points in our life where we almost ignore these to the continuum of we do act. Talk just briefly about, and perhaps somebody can see where they are in their life cycle.
Yeah, I talk about the 7 stages of feeling the tap, and I'll try to touch on a few. The first stage is when you're tapped and called to do something. I have no sensation or relation to that whatsoever. In other words, I want to donate to a cause. I don't even get that. That's stage 1. Well, hopefully you're past that. Stage 2 says, I get it. That's not for me. Stage 3 says, I'll give. Let's say it's a donation or I'll be a part of something. I'll be a part of this, but I don't like it. I'm an usher at a 7 a.m. Mass, okay? And the metaphor, the visual would be somebody taking $1, crunching it up to the point where I can't even make out what the denomination is, and stuffing it into the collection basket with a scowl on their face.
They feel it's their duty.
Got to do it. I hate doing it, but I'm going to do it. That's stage 3.
Yeah.
Stage 4 says, I'll give, I'll be a part of something, but I want to make sure people are watching. I need to be recognized for what I'm doing. Okay, you're making some progress. Stage 5 says, I will be a part of something, but I'll only give when the getting's good for me. In other words, when things are going well for me, then I'm going to share my blessing.
They don't give till it hurts. They give when they can.
When it's feeling right, like there's excess.
Right.
Stage 6 and 7 kind of blend together where it becomes a part of your DNA. You're actually looking and you're seeking out tap moments. Stage 6, yes, you're looking for them, you're seeking them, you make it a part of your daily life. I may go to a fast food restaurant after this and I'll walk back to the short order cook and I'll give him a $5 bill. Never happens to the guy. That's a small little tap moment. Stage 7, you actually create tap disciples, where I take people over to Haiti and I expose them to, say, for example, what we're doing over there. They come back and they spread the word. That's a progression that you fall somewhere on that line. Hopefully you're closer to stage 5, 6, or 7.
Well, I'm really glad that you described information that's in the book, The TAP. You can go to thetap.com and get more information. And after this short break, we'll find out about the efforts of the Caring House Project with Frank McKinney. Don't go away. Welcome back to Full Circle. If you've just now joined us, I'm talking with Frank McKinney. We just talked about his book, The TAP. It's one of 5 books in 3 genres that are bestsellers internationally. In this segment of the program, we're going to talk about what Frank does for a living. I guess it would be an appropriate way to say it. They describe you as a real estate artist. Now, you develop homes that are $30 million mansions on the beach. Obviously, you are very successful at what you do. Tell me about your real estate aspect.
Well, real estate artistry, I define it by, if Van Gogh, Renoir, Monet were in the building business, you would definitely want to buy a house from them, wouldn't you? Because
Absolutely.
they're well-known artists. What I create on speculation, meaning there are no buyers when I start my projects, are houses, 3-dimensional art on the sun-drenched canvas known as the Atlantic Ocean. That's all I've done for the last 21 years is build 1 or 2 beautiful houses a year, the largest one was a 30,000 square foot house, where we design them, we build them. When I say we, my wife and I fully furnish them down to the linens on the beds, the towels in the closets, the gold-plated toothbrush in the bathroom, and make them available to those who can afford to buy them.
Tell me specifically about Aquiliana, and I know you're very concerned about having a green home as well.
Well, the ultra wealthy, listen, I'm an artist, but I don't want to be a starving artist, right? So I build what I believe the ultra wealthy will be attracted to. And in the case of Aquiliana, it is, or was, because I've sold it, was the world's largest and most expensive triple certified green home, meaning certified by the United States Green Building Council, the Florida Green Building Coalition, and the Energy Star for Homes program. And it was a 15,000 square foot house. It had 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. It was on an acre and a half. It was a Balinesian, Tahitian, Fijian style house directly on the ocean, and in an awful real estate economy in South Florida, we were able to sell it for close to what we were asking for it.
And people in the Wall Street Journal, in fact, thought there's just no way. How can somebody be making these homes without a potential buyer in mind?
But you know, that's my thing. I don't, like if I were to build for you and your husband, I would end up playing Dr. Phil more than I would, a builder. That's just, so we don't do custom homes. Again, back to that Van Gogh, Renoir, Monet example, they don't paint for someone, they paint a painting, and if you appreciate it, you're going to buy it. And so that's what we do. We design it, build it, furnish it, market it ourselves, and you either love it or you don't.
Well, the thing that I find really interesting about you're an incredible real estate artist, as you say, but you are sort of, as they have called you, a modern day Robin Hood. You sell to the rich and you give to the poor. And as a result of your success in real estate, you have the Caring House Foundation. We touched briefly on your work in Haiti. Tell me a little bit more about how the Caring House Foundation got started, because here you are building these homes with gold-plated toothbrush holders, as you said, to people who have huts and dirt floors.
I'm a simpleton. I'm a linear thinker. I graduated from North Central High School with a 1.8 grade point average. I didn't have the benefit of pursuing a formal education. I'm in the housing business. Strip it all away. Yes, they're big, but I'm in the housing business. So my epiphanous tap moment where I was able to bring together my professional highest calling with my spiritual highest calling, that being running the Caring House Project Foundation, we build the big ones so we can build a lot of little ones in Haiti. The houses that you see, if you're showing them on the screen, those are $2,000 a square foot. In Haiti, I can build a house for about $10 a square foot. Concrete foundation, concrete walls, and a metal roof. 2 rooms, a kitchen for a family of 8. I can build a whole house in Haiti for $4,000.
But the nice thing about it, you're not just going in and building homes, you are providing a real self-sufficient village when you leave.
That's why we like to be referred to as philanthrocapitalists. So we bring in, yes, we create wholly self-sufficient villages with 50 homes, a school, a clinic, community center, clean drinking water, renewable food, 18 villages. I'm on my 18th self-sufficient village now. But the important thing is we sprinkle free enterprise and capitalism over the top. For example, the village we're building now is a fishing cooperative. Boats, motors, fuel, a building, freezers, grinders to display the fish. So they know going in, if they don't make it on their own, we don't come back with any more money. They've got to make it on their own, and we give them all the tools to do that.
So briefly tell me, how are you viewed and received by the people of Haiti and other countries that are in need?
Well, Haiti's our primary country of choice. I mean, we've done others, but I know when we get there, it's bon papa, they say, which is like benevolent godfather, is if the translation. I've celebrated my birthdays there. They've had whole street festivals. It's amazing, and they had this makeshift little band playing, not Happy Birthday to You, but the national anthem with makeshift, instruments. So it's a wonderful place. I love Haiti. I really enjoy the country. It's like Hawaii, only very poor. And it's 2 hours from our shores, our country's shores.
Right, and by giving to others, you have enriched your own life. We need to take a break. We're going to find out how Frank is helping raise awareness of homelessness after this. Welcome back to Full Circle. We're continuing our conversation with Frank McKinney. As you've heard, he's an author and also is individual who helps those in need around the country and around the world. Another one of his initiatives is to raise awareness of homelessness. Joining us in the conversation, we have John Jonette. He is the executive director of the Horizon House. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
John, I understand you met Frank when he came to Horizon House. Tell me a little bit about that first experience in meeting Frank.
Well, it was just wonderful to have a hometown person under our roof, and he was able to really, I think, delve into his life story. And I know that our neighbors, our homeless neighbors that we serve every day, have continued to talk about that little touch while Frank was in town. Just an incredible story.
You, including here at Indianapolis, you had a 14-city tour raising awareness about homelessness, Survival to Thrival. Tell me a little bit about how that got started.
Well, we talked about our initiatives in Haiti, but there's a lot of people in the United States that are hurting. When our board got together to put together our program of work, we said we needed to do something for the indigent, for the homeless here in the United States. 16 cities, 24 days, over 4,000 miles. And the idea was to stop at places like Horizon House, give what I call, or I tried to give, which was an aspirational talk. Inspiration will wear off. Aspiration can stay with you for your entire life. To inspire and have some people, John's guests and neighbors, aspire to really turn their lives around with their help. We gave them a donation based upon the number of people that came to hear the talk right there on the spot. No red tape. Here's your check, John. We also gave out gift cards, had a nice little raffle. It was like a game show almost for the people. The homeless people have a lot of fun. And the last part was in most cities, I would swap places with a homeless person for the night. And in this case, we didn't really swap. We spent a lot of time with some of the families and taking them to Walmart in the wee hours to buy them stuff that they needed. This was one of the best stops we had, I'll tell you, not just because I'm from here, but just the work that the Horizon House is doing. It was very clear that their success rate exceeded a lot of the success rates of the other programs that we stopped at in those 4,000 miles. And for me, the most impactful part was when I would swap. I slept in parks, I slept under bridges, I slept in homeless shelters, and just to see the importance of if you're homeless and the funding is cut to these organizations and your homeless shelter shuts its doors, basically they do go out of business, where would you go? So that's why we want to support the Horizon House. So
John, tell us a little bit about the need and also the services that you provide to the families that Frank was talking about.
Sure. You know, we estimate that there's about 45,000 individuals in central Indiana here that are at risk of being homeless at any given time, you know, that one paycheck from the street. And with the downturn in the economy, we've seen so many more families come through our doors, you know, that played by the rules. You know, they worked hard all of their lives and lost their income and lost their supports. And a lot of times they don't have family supports to turn to. So that's where Horizon House opens its doors each morning at 7 a.m. And we really offer a full service, a full array of services, both basic services, you know, things like taking a shower, you know, doing your laundry, grabbing a bite to eat. But more importantly, while they're there, they're able to hook up with professional services, case management, mental health care, mental health care, a variety of services all under one roof.
Well, Frank mentioned that he wants to help people aspire to different heights. I'm sure you found, as you mentioned earlier, that the families are still talking. I would also suspect that you have seen some changes as a result of Frank's visit.
Absolutely. His influence that day, we still have conversations about the things that he talked about and some of the important things that he tried to leave our neighbors with at that visit.
If you want more information, perhaps you are feeling the tap that we talked about in the earlier part of our program. We have the Horizon House information up on the screen. As Frank mentioned, there are those in need here in our community, in our state, in the United States, as well as around the world. Frank, I'd like to just conclude with you. For people who have been moved to action, either to help Horizon House or their own communities, what advice would you give them? You talk about vitamin M, a way to be motivated. Some people just need that extra push. What would you say to them?
I mean, let's use Horizon House as the example, and you used the word homeless awareness. This was not a homeless awareness tour. If people are watching this that aren't aware of homelessness, there's something wrong. I mean, we're beyond that. This was an action tour. Simply, it was, and use the word action. That's what it was. So I tell people, the Horizon House, go there, Don't take your checkbook. Don't even clean out your closet with your clothes. Go there, witness what John's doing, allow the Holy Spirit to tap you and move you in a way that will cause for you to support organizations like Horizon House. We took huge action. Went to 16 homeless shelters, 24 cities, blah, blah, blah. That was big time. You don't have to do that. Just leave your house, put down your remote, turn off the TV, go to Horizon House and let the Holy Spirit move you.
Well said. I'm going to end the program there. Frank McKinney, John Jonette, thank you so much. And we're back with Bobby Hayden, who was formerly homeless. He will be performing in our music segment. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Musical Showcase is coming up next. And now, here's our Musical Showcase.
We are back. Bobby Hayden joins us now. He was formerly homeless. He spent 8 years on the streets in Los Angeles. He's turned his life around and he's here to perform No Sign of Life. And I'll see you next time, Full Circle.
From the darkness to a brand new light, on a back shelf, barely half price, a man empty with no sign of life, on driftwood with no land in sight, no sign of life. You could buy me for a nickel on the hour, purchase me for pennies on the dollar, throw me away like some fool's money, tell me jokes I don't find funny, no sign of life.
Care, share, gifts and more. Nature Explore. For the children in your life, visit Nature Explore at arborday.org.